Hey everyone, welcome to a message I'm not sure is just for me or if it's for everyone, but Hecate has come out and I forget, I've heard it in like a couple of readings, but going back to my previous collective message about the Bardo, the limbo, in the Goddess Oracle deck, Hecate is the goddess of the in-between. So in this card, it talks about how when you're kind of stuck in between worlds, how Hecate will lead you out. And usually what keeps you stuck in between, not fully moving on into the new, is some kind of shadow issue you haven't integrated or some other kind of low vibrational past energy type thing clinging on to you. So since we're in spring, I don't know, like I love spring and I love cherry blossoms. And I don't know, it's things have felt weird. I'm in the East Coast, like mid East Coast, and we had this beautiful spring weather. We had the blossoms, then suddenly it just got crazy cold. And it was like it halted spring. It stuck us. And I knew I should have done this reading maybe like a week or two ago, but I did not. I moved on to other things. I kind of like got distracted by whatever. And it just I kept it on my desk right here, these two cards together as a reminder that I should do this reading. Um, but I just feel like it, yeah, because I didn't. Here we are in maybe in stuck energy. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but I kind of feel like that too. It's like there's just before the first step is made, it's like it's almost like being given the opportunity to rethink the first step. Like not start out the new job running late with, a coffee stain on your shirt type deal. And in a dream I have a lot of transportation dreams, which makes me think this is the reason why I keep giving these messages about like moving on. And it's like it's almost not necessarily like the full ascension, right? I feel like it's never just like one, like that. I feel it is pretty gradual. And I felt in the astral I've been moving up gradually or just moving on, just whatever is happening. And last week I had a dream I was supposed to catch a flight and I completely missed this flight and I was not prepared. I was running late because I felt I had to pack all this stuff. Like, oh, I definitely need this, I definitely need that. And it was just I was taking my time and I missed the flight and I couldn't even find my ticket and it's just totally not me. So it was like pissing me off because I usually become lucid partly through a dream. And that's when I start questioning, like, this is not me. I would never not have the ticket to my flight. I have apps for this. I'm usually prepared like well ahead of time to leave anywhere. So just the fact that all this happened, it made me think it's a bigger message, obviously. I am taking baggage through that I don't need. So now I feel like I have to do like complete spring cleaning so I can not take so many things. Um, so if that's true, then I'm happy for this chance to have my beginning done right, but I still need to take action. It reminds me of another dream I had too. And there's just like something with transportation, especially flights. This was like during the summer and I was still working through a lot of issues. Um, I was trying to go through airport security with a flask full of like vodka. And I don't know why I thought I could get away with it, but like in the dream, I was like, well, maybe they won't notice. Maybe I'll just tell them it's water. Like I just happen to carry water in a flask. This is not vodka, officer. And it's like they gave me this chance. The guy like clearly purposely turned his back so I could dump it real quick. But like to me, that was like, symbolizing like addictions, like numbing things. Like I'd never do that. First of all, I don't drink vodka. But I would never try to sneak it on a plane. It was just, but it's like the crazy examples like that are always meant to highlight to me, like, what is the actual thing? Yes, we showed you something ridiculous, but what's something smaller that you're doing that's very, very common? Like, what bad habits are you still trying to take with you as you're moving on and up? And in this case, there are things. So I got out my shadow mirror, yeah, dark mirror oracle, and I love this deck. So I'm gonna pull some cards from here to see what else might be keeping me or us or whoever in the limbo. What's like dragging, what are we trying to drag behind us and take into the new beginning that shouldn't come there? And I've used this deck so much. Hopefully, I have the book just in case, but I've used this deck so much, I should know what most of the cards mean. So let's see. Is there another? Whoop, whoop. So we got 3 cards. Okay. Ooh. So I was wondering if this would be several things or just one thing. And I feel like someone just did a reading like this. Oh my God, was it Cindy from Awakening to Spirit? Because here's the cards that came out. First it was, Is This Me? Anger and Chains, and Calling the Storm. Somebody really just did a reading with all these cards. So Is This Me is the first one that popped up. So I think this is, so these cards work in stages of grief. And I feel like it's like stages of kind of accepting your shadow a bit. So this one, I'm pretty sure is an acceptance card. But I'll take a minute to look. It's like right in front. So number 4. Yeah, it is acceptance. Okay. And I think anger and chains is kind of obvious that it's the anger stage. But I will double check that now so I don't have to look. Yep. And calling the storm is bargaining. Okay. So here's anger and chains. That's a pretty cool looking card. Oh, there's a line in there. And then calling the storm. I feel like calling the storm, this is feeling like creating your own towers. And yes, I would know something about creating your own towers. So it's like, I feel like this is the after part of actually realizing which behaviors are being taken. Could be a bit of self-sabotage. So if you feel trapped or upset about a situation, it's like the powerlessness of feeling like you can't do anything, and the resentment that builds up. And then you start a fight with this calling the storm. You start a fight because you want something to change, but you're not really willing to take the difficult actions. Communicate honestly, admit your feelings even. And in the aftermath, she's a warrior right here, look. In the aftermath, you're wondering, like, is this you, this person that destroys things, that towers yourself? Focus. Yeah, because she's kind of crying. It's like a warrior, say if we're carrying this kind of like wounded warrior energy, how many of these battles were legit? How many like honest battles have I had, have you had in your life when it comes to feeling powerless, building up resentment. How many of these fights were for like actual justice versus just needing an outlet, needing catharsis? I feel that that's kind of the message here. Self-destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors can't be taken through. Like everything has to be intentional. And that message keeps coming to me a lot too. Everything, like understanding your energy, understanding how you affect other people, how they affect you, being honest with yourself, not beating yourself up for feeling things. And I don't just mean like feeling your feelings. It's like, I feel like the reason why we latch so much onto like the concept of ascension is because we've been fed this idea that you have to rise above everything, right? People who are like enlightened or seeing things from a higher perspective, they just rise above the drama or whatever it is. And when you can't rise above it, when you still feel it, you probably feel like shit because you're like, oh, here I am down in the trenches still. But the fact is, that's not everyone's calling. Maybe it is some people's calling to rise above, but if you're like an actual light worker or you're doing the work, you can't not be on the battlefield. You can't not be in the trenches. You can't not be affected by it. It's all in how you handle it. Can you transmute it? Can you turn it around and create healing for yourself and others? You can't really help anybody if you're trying to do it from like this high perspective to the point where you can't even understand what they're going through. So there's gonna be times where situations do feel, I guess we don't have to let this anger, especially if it's like righteous anger, feel like it's dragging us down or feel like a trap. That's not the correct way. I wouldn't even say correct. It's just not the helpful way to view those things. So I wonder if there's anything at the bottom. Blinded to pain. Yeah, you can't, are you just going to pretend that you don't feel anything because you're too enlightened? That's not really the right. I keep saying right, but I hate putting things in a context of right and wrong, but it's, if you want to do the work, you gotta be in it. You gotta be in it. You gotta feel it too. You can't help anybody if you're just completely stoic and pretending like things don't faze you. No, that's not relatable to anybody. But as far as like self-sabotaging behaviors, let's see. I got the Mystical Shaman deck, which I do not know as well. So I think I've purposely not gotten to know this deck. Just so if I pull it out, I'm just like, I don't know what this card means. I mean, I want to read this deck intuitively. It took me a long time to finally get it. And some things do speak to me, and other things I'm like, I don't know what that means. So let's see. Do we have any advice about this? Oh, okay. Well, first, oh my god. The curse! And then the arrow in reverse. Whoa, look at this. This is creeping me out. Yeah. But I mean, I kind of used to the curse. Even before I had this deck, I would see the curse all the time. And then the arrow in reverse. So there's something about the Earthkeeper is at the bottom. Is this something about like not being direct? The Earthkeeper. I feel like this is really speaking about, even though I don't know the meaning of the card, this is speaking about the fact that we are meant to be in the trenches if we're doing the work. We're the keeper of Earth, not whatever up there is. And taming the wind. Yeah. I mean, it honestly, a resentment comes a lot from control, right? Controlling other people, controlling our feelings. And you just can't do that. You can't tame the wind. You just have to learn to shoot your arrow in the right direction, whatever the wind is. You need to learn to adjust to the wind. The Andean cross. So this is important for something. I remember, but I can't think about it right now. If I think about it later, I'll just make another video. But yeah, the curse. The curse. I feel like it's the curse of just, the curse is not really a curse, it's just being human. You don't come here to spend the entire time trying not to be human. Or do we do that in some ways? Maybe. Hiding from our emotions. Trying to suppress the emotions of others. The words of others, trying to control everyone. It is kind of like fighting against being human. In a way. Trying to turn everyone into robots. Anyway, I think that's all I have for that reading. The curse. You know what? Actually, wait a minute. Let me see. Give me some... Can you give me some cards on this curse? You know, as I'm shuffling though, I'm thinking like the curse is the fragmentation of like how fragmented we feel with our shadow, our ego, our spirit, our mental, our emotional, everything. It all feels like separate parts of us. Why are we born that way? Like we have to spend so much time in the quest for growth and properly aligning all our different bodies, the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional, integrating our shadow and kind of like telling our ego to chill out. So we spend like a whole lifetime of growth trying to figure out how to join all the parts of self. Yeah, what does it say? Knight of Swords. Yeah, there, look at that. Misaligned bodies. Look at those shadows. Bringing it together. And there's like the moons in the background. And look, even those planets are like trying to align. That looks like an eclipse back there. Misalignment. And then there's Eight of Pentacles. What am I getting from this? It feels like following the order of things. The path, the straight and narrow. That's the ego. The ego is what, we have the ego so we can follow this path and navigate life. And then there's Knight of Pentacles. What is this giving me? He really likes that flag, I think. Slow growth. Slow growth. The process is slow. And you have to learn. You have to be meticulous. Even though a lot of natural maturity does happen, I think we've all met too many people that didn't mature, you know, who didn't grow or don't even want to grow. So that's a curse. The fragmentation. You know, trying to navigate a path, the path that you're supposed to go when your body is going in like multiple directions. Can you imagine if these two other bodies that you actually need just decided to just wander off somewhere? That's why you have to move slow. And love this flag. Or is this a standard? Yeah, a standard. Anyway, that's all. Hopefully that message is helpful to someone other than me. Thank you.